Hello and welcome to our first lecture in small business management and entrepreneurship. This is our introductory class. Okay, and for the outline of our discussion today, we'll define entrepreneurship and small business. We'll look at some characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. Then we'll look at some types of small businesses and startups, the role of entrepreneurship in economic development, and then some challenges and opportunities for small businesses. Okay. So, if we say entrepreneurship, it's basically the process of identifying, of developing, and bringing a business idea to life. Okay. In some definitions, it will say entrepreneurship involves the identification of an opportunity, taking risks in the hope that as you take the risks, you are going to make some returns. Okay. Entrepreneurship involves innovation. It involves risk taking, like I already said, and then resource management to create and to grow a new venture. It is also the process of acquiring, of assembling, and developing resources in the pursuit of perceived opportunities for long-term gain. Entrepreneurship is the process of setting up a business or businesses, taking on financial risks in the hope of making profit. Okay? And then if we say an entrepreneur is an individual or a group of people who take initiatives to establish and manage businesses. And most of the times, they introduce innovative products or services to the market. All right. So an entrepreneur is an individual who takes the initiative to establish and manage a business, often introducing innovative products or services to the market. So there are some various aspects of entrepreneurship that we would want to look at. All right. There is innovation from the definitions we have looked at. There is innovation, there is risk taking, there's value creation, and there's problem solving. Okay. So with innovation, entrepreneurs develop new ideas, they develop new products, or they come up with new business models. Okay, so every entrepreneur comes up with an innovation, and that can be an idea, it can be a product or a service, or it can also be a business model. Okay. Then there's the aspect of risk taking. Entrepreneurs invest their time and money with the possibility of failure. Okay, so it means that they are putting in money, or you're putting in money knowing that there is some possibility that things may go wrong. In as much as you're hoping for the best, there's also the possibility that things may go wrong. So it's actually a risk that is being taken. Okay, so entrepreneurs invest their time and money, and they hope that they will make some profits. However, at the back of their minds, they know that things may go wrong. Okay. And there's also the aspect of value creation, where entrepreneurs aim to generate value for customers and the society. The final one is problem solving, where entrepreneurs address the needs of the market, or they look at inefficiencies in the market and try to fill the gap. Okay. So now that we understand what entrepreneurship is, what then is a small business? A small business is an independently owned and operated enterprise that has a limited number of employees and generates moderate revenue. So entrepreneurship can go to a very, there's infinity, right? There's no limit to how far an entrepreneur can go. But a small business has a limited number of employees and generates moderate revenue. So unlike large corporations, small businesses often operate on a local or regional scale and serve niche markets or particular groups of people. Okay. So for a small business, you notice that there is limited capital or you have limited resources. If you have employees, you notice that the number of employees are limited. Okay, you have fewer employees, and this varies by country. So in Ghana, for an organization to be considered as a small business, then it should have less than 50 employees. So once you have less than 50 employees, then it qualifies as a small business. Okay. There's also personalized customer relationships. Then there's the local or specialized market focus. So like I said earlier, you can have a medium-sized company, you can have a small-sized company, very small, and then the micro. So where you have fewer than 6 or less than 6, then we can classify it as a micro business. Then a very small business is a business that has less than 10 employees. Okay. And then for the small business, you have less than 30 employees. For a medium enterprise, you have less than 50 employees. Okay. All right. So there's also the revenue, right? But for the revenue, it's not really, there's not really any difference between the micro, very small, small, and medium. For all of them, their revenue should be less or equal to 10 million cedis. Okay, then they are classified as a small business, micro, very small, or medium. If it goes past this, then it means that then it's a large enterprise. Okay. So there are some characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. For an entrepreneur to succeed, there are some characteristics that they should exhibit. All right. The entrepreneur has to be a visionary thinker. So it means that to succeed in entrepreneurship, there should be visionary thinking, where entrepreneurs foresee market trends and develop solutions before competitors do. Okay, there's also creativity and innovation where entrepreneurs introduce new products, services, and different ways of getting things done. Okay, they also have a risk-taking ability in a sense that they are willing to invest their time and money in a venture that is not so clear as to whether you are 100% sure that this thing will succeed. There's some doubt that it may go wrong, but yet they put in the resources that are needed to start the business. Okay, then there should also be resilience and persistence, because there are likely to be failures, there are likely to be challenges, setbacks will come. The entrepreneur has to be resilient and persistent so that in the face of challenges, they don't give up. In the face of challenges, they don't run away from their vision. Okay. Then there should also be strong leadership skills. The entrepreneur should have the ability to inspire the teams that he's going to work with and then manage the resources available to him effectively. So if the entrepreneur does not have strong leadership skills, there's a possibility that the limited resources available to him will not be effectively used. Okay. There should also be adaptability. The entrepreneur should be able to adapt to different situations. Okay, there should be the flexibility in whatever that he's doing, such that in the face of any challenge, it is easy to modify whatever it is they are doing in a way that will help them to succeed or stand out or be able to go through challenging times. He should be able to adapt and modify the strategies that he comes up with. There should also be financial management skills. He has to be able to manage his finances well. He should be able to budget. He should be able to manage his cash flow and invest wisely. In as much as there's the need to take on risks, the risks that the entrepreneur takes should be calculated risks. You don't just take risk for the sake of it. Okay, so the entrepreneur has to invest wisely and manage the cash flow effectively. And then he should also be someone, the entrepreneur should be someone who is able to network and build relationships. Okay, the entrepreneur's ability to build relationships and networks is what will grow his business. So for an entrepreneur who does not know how to network or does not focus on building relationships, it has a direct negative effect on the business, on the growth of the business. Okay, the entrepreneur should also be customer focused, ensuring that he is prioritizing customer needs every time, okay, and market demands every time. So the entrepreneur should not work on his own terms, but the entrepreneur focuses on the needs of the customer. What is the customer saying? What is the customer looking for? And how they would be able to meet the needs of the customer and the demands of the market. And what we have here finally is self-discipline and ethical working. All right. The entrepreneur should be able to work long hours and be committed to his business no matter what. Okay, so an entrepreneur who wants to succeed is not one that will wake up and go to work today and sleep at home tomorrow. Okay, he has to be consistent and work as is required of him. Otherwise, the business may not go like it's supposed to. All right. So the characteristics of successful entrepreneurs, this list we have here is not conclusive. There are more. Okay, so when I get to class, we would look at the other characteristics that that entrepreneurs need. We'll discuss those characteristics extensively. So I believe that by the time you get to class, you should have some other characteristics other than what we have here on your fingertips. Okay. Then we have the types of small businesses and startups. Okay, so by ownership, you can have a small business as a sole proprietor. A sole proprietor is a business that is owned and run by one person. Okay, you can also have a small business as a partnership where two or more individuals come together and start the business. They share profits and liabilities of the company. You can also have a small business as a limited liability company. A limited liability company is a structure which offers the benefits of a corporation and a partnership. What this means is that in a case of any unfortunate event, the owners of the business are not really how do I say, they are not, their property is not going to, the organization is seen as an entity on its own, all right, aside the owners of the business. So the organization is an entity on its own and is independent of the owners of the business. So in the case of any lawsuit or in the case of any losses or profits, whatever it is, the organization is seen as an independent body and it's not connected to any of the entrepreneurs. You can also have a small business as a franchise. Okay, a franchise is a business that operates under a licensed brand name. So you can have a small business as a franchise. You can also have a cooperative, right? A cooperative is a business that is owned and operated by a group of people with shared interests. Okay, so sometimes we hear of farmer cooperatives, maybe dressmakers, and all of those can come together, form a cooperative that help each other. Okay, so these are some types of small businesses and startups that we can have. Then on the basis of the operation and the growth potential, You can have the lifestyle startups. Okay, the lifestyle startups are created for personal satisfaction and financial stability. You can also have small business startups where you have local businesses that serve a niche market. Okay, you can also have scalable startups, and these are designed for rapid growth and venture capital investments. And most of the times we have these as tech startups. Then we have social enterprises. Social enterprises prioritize impact over profit. What it means is that they are more focused on the impact that they are making as a business rather than on the profit. But that does not mean that they also do not focus on profit. Then you have the viable startups. These are businesses developed with the goal of being acquired by larger companies. So we look at the role of entrepreneurship in economic development. The first one is that it helps with job creation. Okay, so if you start a business and you employ one person, it means that you have helped the economy to grow by reducing the level of unemployment in the country. Okay, so it helps with job creation. Small businesses help provide employment opportunities for people. Okay, it also helps with innovation and technological advancement. Whilst the entrepreneur is thinking about a new product to introduce on the market, a new service, a new business model, then you notice that he's also in one way or the other advancing innovation and advancing technology. It also helps with wealth distribution and poverty reduction. Okay. So if an entrepreneur starts a business and the business is doing well, what happens is that the his economic or his lifestyle changes. All right. His how do I say it? They help to they make better their standard of living, or their standard of living improves. Okay, so if previously he could not afford 3 square meals, once he starts the business and things start to go well, the entrepreneur starts living well. He's able to take care of his children, take care of the children of his or her employees, right? And as he employs more people, the other people are also able to improve on their standard of living, right? Entrepreneurship also helps with increased competition. Okay, so as more businesses are formed, what happens is that if you're a consumer, you have a lot of options to select from. However, if it's just one person doing everything for the community, you notice that you are limited with the choices that you have. So entrepreneurship ensures that the consumer has a lot of options to choose from. Okay, so it helps with better products and then competitive pricing, because the entrepreneur knows that he's not the only one who is providing that service or producing that good. It also helps with exports and foreign exchange earnings. So some small businesses expand into international markets, which now has been made so easy with the use of the internet. Okay. And this boosts the national economy, right? And then finally, entrepreneurship helps with improved infrastructure and local development, because as the businesses grow, they attract investments and development into their communities. All right. Then we look at the challenges that small businesses face. They face a lot of challenges in our context. All right. There's limited access to capital. So entrepreneurs sometimes, when they want to start, there's a difficulty in obtaining loans or investments, especially if you want to go through the banks. And once you have even the loan, sometimes the interest rate is so high that the business may collapse if you are not careful. Okay, so there's limited access to capital. Then there's also high competition because of international trade and the fact that consumers are able to access international markets no matter where they are. There's a high competition, and so local entrepreneurs tend to compete with other manufacturers or other entrepreneurs from more developed countries. Okay, so there's a higher competition. Then there's also government regulations and a lot of bureaucracy, sometimes registering the business, getting it to run, tax issues, they make the running of your business difficult. And if the entrepreneur is not so determined, what happens is that they may give up. Okay. So that's for the government regulations and bureaucracy. Then there's also an uncertainty and economic fluctuations. All right, as uncertainty on the market. You don't know at what point the taste of the consumer will change. All right, you don't know how the consumer is going to see your product. Would it go down well with them? Is it something they want to identify with? Okay. And then for the fluctuations, sometimes the currencies are not so friendly, especially if the entrepreneur has to be dealing with other foreign currency. You notice that the exchange rates can affect his business negatively. Okay. There's also the lack of skilled labor. Sometimes, as an entrepreneur, it's difficult to find the right people to work with. Okay, and that can negatively affect your business. Then there's the poor infrastructure. All right. In recent times, we hear of the doomsday. Okay, issues with electricity, issues with internet, issues with our roads. Okay, and all of these impact um the small business negatively. Okay. There are, however, some opportunities, okay? And these opportunities take the form of the fact that now you have a digital transformation and e-commerce where you are able to make sales online without necessarily moving from where you are. Sometimes you don't even need a physical office to operate. Okay, so once you are available online or you have an app that is up and working for you, all right, then you are in business. So there's the digital transformation and e-commerce. There's also access to global markets, also through the online platforms. Then for some businesses, you have support from governments and NGOs. Okay, so there are times that you can access grants, you can have tax incentives, and then training programs that will impact your small business positively. Okay, then in recent times, there are emerging industries, which were not um around some time past. Now you have the renewable energy, you have fintech, you have agribusiness, and then you have the creative economy. Okay, some call it the gig economy. So you have emerging industries, and so entrepreneurs can make use of some of these industries which were not existent some time ago. All right, make use of them to succeed as small businesses. And then the opportunity also comes with the changing consumer preference. Okay, now a lot of noise is being made about purchasing locally made products. Okay, and make consuming made in Ghana goods. So once these campaigns are launched, you notice that it helps small businesses to also expand, especially if they are focused in any of such areas. So there's demand for locally made, sustainable, and organic products. All right. So for every entrepreneurial venture, all right, to succeed, there are various factors that influence this. And these factors can be internal or external. All right. So for the internal factors that affect the performance of the entrepreneurial venture, you can have industry knowledge. All right. So if you want to start a particular business, you need to know about that industry. If you don't know about the industry and you get into it, you may make some mistakes that are very costly. Okay, so you need to have the industry knowledge. Then you need general management skills, because as an entrepreneur, you need to be able to manage your business. Okay, so you should know how to run the business. Then you should have some motivation, okay, on your own, because things are going to come against you that are they can break you down. So you need personal motivation. And as you have that, you should also be able to motivate your employees or people who are working with you. You also need human relationship skills. All right, you need to be able to network. And all of these are internal factors that can influence the entrepreneurial performance. If you don't manage any of these factors well, they are likely to affect the business negatively. Then you have external macro factors that influence entrepreneurship. So you have the natural environment, you can have the technological environment, the political environment, the legal environment, the economical environment, and then the social environment. When we meet, we'll be discussing in detail how each of these factors affect the entrepreneur, or how these factors affect the entrepreneurial venture. So it's either the entrepreneur himself or the business that he has set up. So we'll be discussing this in detail. I hope you brace yourselves well before you come to class. So in addition to that, you are supposed to identify a small business that inspires you. So you will identify the small business that inspires you, and then you will explain why you are inspired by that small business. You will tell us why that business inspires you. So identify the business that inspires you and explain why you are inspired by that business. And then you also find a local entrepreneur, any of the local entrepreneurs, and then you prepare a short presentation on their journey. Okay, so you can research on a particular entrepreneur and then go through their journey, right? And you write or tell us about their challenges and then successes along the way. Okay, so once this is done, when we meet, you'll be presenting to us your findings. So the findings will be on the business that inspires you, one, and then the local entrepreneur and his journey. Okay. For the factors, we'll be discussing those. So you don't have to prepare any write-up on the factors. We are going to talk about them in class. But for this, I want you to put together a presentation that you will share with us in class. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.